All right, welcome back into Market Day Report. I am Scott Shellady coming to you live from Paxton, Illinois. It's kind of central northish, around Champaign-Urbana in Illinois. We've been out here for the last few days since Monday afternoon, speaking to you all and getting the farmer input, getting face-to-face, shaking hands, kissing babies, pressing the flesh. It's always fantastic to get out of the office and get to meet some of the people that watch the show and are such good supporters of RFD TV. So it's a good time to be able to tell them how much we appreciate their viewership as well, and actually get to hear what their concerns are. And there's a lot of them out there. Let's see if there's any concerns with these markets. If I bring up a corn board, it'll show us that it's been kind of heavy all day today, but not as heavy as it's been. We're only down a penny and a quarter in that March contract to 451. We're in the middle of the range. The range has only been about 6 cents, not even 5 3/4 cents. So 1 1/4 cents lower March corn. We're 2 cents lower in the May corn. 460.5 is last. That's just about 3 1/4 cents off the low and about 2.5 cents off the high. That'll give you an idea where corn's trading. Just on its heels, a little heavy, but nothing too dramatic. If we go from corn to the Chicago soybean market, we take a look at soybeans and they show us that they are too the leaders to the downside. They came back a little bit, but now we look to be leaking a little bit more lower. 19 1/4 cents lower in that March contract. 12.21 1/4 is last. The good news is we're just about 5 3/4 to 6 cents off the low of the day, but we're well off the high. Look at that. We've had, I don't know, I'm going to call that a 32-cent range today. That's pretty big, right? May's down 18 cents to 12.28.5. That's soybeans in Chicago. Let's take a look at the wheat in Chicago and see what that's got in store for us. Wheat in Chicago is going to be just a tad higher, just a couple of cents higher, actually. 2 cents higher in the March. 6.12 3/4 is last. 6 1/4 cents off the low of the day. And about 4 3/4 cents off the high of the day. So still, I'm going to call that the middle of the day's range. We've settled in nicely here. May is up 2 cents to 6.22 1/4. That's Chicago wheat. There's another wheat we want to look at. That's in Kansas City, and that would be the hard red. We'll take a look at the hard red. That's up 8.5 cents in that March contract. 6.34 1/4 is last there. That's a whole dime and a quarter off the low of the day, and we're only about 5 1/4 cents off the highs. So that'll give you an idea where we sit in that range. We're 5 1/4 cents higher in the May to 6.33 1/4. Now let's move over from the hard red to the spring wheat. That's going to be in Minneapolis. We bring up that spring wheat board, and that's up 4.5 cents in that March to 7.09 even. 2.5 cents off the high of the day. All right, there's something to look at. We're well off the lows by 8 1/4 cents. May's up 4.5 cents to 7.13 3/4. From spring wheat, we go to cotton. Right, we can't do this without talking about cotton. 26 points higher. March cotton trades at 85.66. All right, let's bring in our next guest analyst. It's the famous Mr. Tommy Grisafi from Advanced Trading. Advanced is a great show, a friend of this show, Market Day Report, and the Cow Guy Close. Tommy, thanks for being on. All right, a decidedly negative tone today, except for the wheat market. What are your thoughts?
It's all about the stock market, Scott. I'm in Nashville. I was up in the control room watching several of these segments, and everyone kind of says the same thing. And the truth needs to be said. There's just nothing going on. But one thing that did happen is right out of the gate, someone sold a lot of soybeans, and you're seeing the basis starting to weaken in South America, and they have a crop. It's harvest. Even during 2012, when America had a short crop, we had harvest pressure. Let me repeat that again. Even when there's a problem, there's harvest pressure. I remember in spring wheat, we had a big bull market 3-4 years ago, and we had huge harvest pressure on a really short crop. So there's bushels being produced in the world all the time. And let me ask you something. What bit of advice did you give the farmers? Did you give them we're going back to the basics, back to reality? A couple of my clients were at your meeting. You said, corn's going to 550. If not, I'll write you a check, is what one of them said. But maybe I misheard him.
I said that would be what you could hope for way on the upside. It's going to be met with selling when these funds go to get out. 5 1/4 would be fantastic if we got lucky 550. And there's a lot of folks calling for it to go a little bit lower than that. But I also said you want to hit singles and doubles and move the runners around. There's no more home runs, because when you swing and miss, it's going to really hurt this time around like it didn't the last 2 or 3 years. So I think that the market's a little bit overdone to the downside. That's my personal opinion. And I think that we will get a little bit of a bounce here. But if we do see Mother Nature, totally comply, it's going to trade heavy. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, real quick before we go on break, Scotty, Microsoft, $3 trillion value the other day. It's all about the stock market.
Yeah, I mean, it's whether or not Americans feel rich, and that leads to some of this consumer spending. They say the consumer's healthy. I say the consumer's in la-la land. but either way, they're spending, right? And so if they see the stock market as high as it's been, that's going to give them a good feeling, and they're going to go out there. And it's something called doom spending. They've just given up. They're not trying to save. They're not trying to buy a house. They can't afford the mortgages. It's an issue. But at the same time, when the money's moving through the system, it doesn't matter why the money's moving through. If it's moving through, it's going to be good for the stock market, and that might also help some of the things we're about to talk to in the next part of the show, and that's going to be the livestock. So stay right there, Tommy. We're going to go away. We're going to pay some bills here, and we're going to come back and talk more with Mr. Tommy Grisafi from Advanced Trading. He's in Nashville. We're going to come right back after this. All right, welcome back to Market Day Report. I'm Scott Shellady coming to you from Paxton, Illinois. I'm in the middle of the state of Illinois, and it's been fantastic. And the good Lord's given us all sorts of different weather, freezing ice and rain on Monday, fog, and maybe a little bit of sleet and snow on Tuesday. Yesterday, just a good old helping of rain. And today it looks like it might be clearing up a little bit for our drive back down to Nashville to get in the studio again tomorrow. Let's take a look and see what these livestock markets are doing. Let's start with the live cattle board and see what we've got going on there. And it's now got some legs to the upside, folks. Feb's up $1.07 to 176.42. There we go. And that's just a nickel off the high of the day. We like that. April's up $1.12 to 179.47. That's pretty good too. And that's just a nickel off the high of the day. So live cattle making a move as we speak to the upside as we move into, say, the last hour of trade. Let's talk about what we've got going on in the feeders then. If I bring that board up, feeders also making a move to the upside here. Not as much in the fronts as we do see in the backs, but we'll start with March. That's up 62 cents to 234.40. And again, that's a tick off the high of the day now. All right, not bad. And we've got a decent range, about maybe say $2.5. April's up 87 cents to 240.67. And then finally, let's get to the next board. That's going to be lean hogs, and they're up as well, but not much, between 25 and 42 cents across the board. Feb's up 25 cents to 74.15. April's up 42 cents to 82.45. All right, let's get back to Mr. Tommy Grisafi. He's with Advanced Trading. He's in Nashville today. Tommy, any thoughts of the livestock? Yeah, as you said, rightfully so, in the top of this block. It does have a lot to do with the stock market, and stocks are levitating pretty well.
Yeah, it's got a lot of people shaking their head because we were at such low interest rates for so long. To come up as intense and at the level we did, but we're kind of staying at this level, and not just us, but I think the ECB kept rates the same today, Scotty. And the cattle market's liking these lower grains. The actual herd, got really cold, nasty weather, and when you put a shock like that to an animal, they just don't put on the tonnage like they used to. So I'm hearing from my friends in the cattle industry that it was a wonderful November and December, huge gain, but boy, January just started off cold, and they losing some tonnage. And we'll see. Hog market, interesting stories coming out of China, everything else, but there's never a dull moment. There's just some things more exciting than others. That's all.
Real quick, and yes, would you rather buy the 525 D's calls or the 425 puts?
In corn?
Yeah.
Might be better off to sell them both and just sit there and watch them both come in. But
great answer. We'll go.
Scott, I don't understand options. Can you help me out with that?
All right.
I want to tell you real quick before we go.
Appreciate that.
I found the self-tanning place you go to, and it's awesome. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Well, they tan by the yard. That's why I go there. I thank you very much, Tommy. Thanks for being on. We're going to bring it back here to Nashville, and I'm going to throw it back to Suzanne, who's patiently waiting for her time to shine. Take it away, Suzanne.